go.
For this play, this is where we wanted it.
Back, looks, throws, ends it. Yes! Caught! Touchdown, Detroit Lions! They did it! Let's go! Oh, my goodness!
The bye week is over. It's time to get back to some football. Welcome to Inside the Pride, presented by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. I'm your host, Dannie Rogers, and in the next 30 minutes, we'll feature our weekly Detroit Lions player interview. Catch up with head coach Dan Campbell as he prepares for those Dallas Cowboys on the road. And another season of Under the Helmet is here. You'll get to hear wide receiver Kalif Raymond's story. First, though, let's catch up with another wide receiver, Josh Reynolds, heading into Week 7. Looking at your numbers through the first 5 games, they're trending towards the career year you had in LA in 2020. You tweeted back this past May, your last tweet. You said, always bet on yourself. How did you bet on yourself by staying here in Detroit?
Honestly, I thought it was probably the best opportunity for me. You know, I liked the culture here. You know, I liked the way that the team, the direction the team was headed. I don't know what I was expecting the atmosphere was going to be, but it wasn't, you know, it exceeded my expectations, you know, dramatically. And so, you know, I can fight behind people that, you know, that fight for you. So it was an easy decision.
The last 3 weeks, you have not dropped below 80 receiving yards. What is the most difficult thing about consistency in the National Football League?
That's it, consistency, you know, just trying to do that week in, week out, you know, because some weeks it's going to be your time, some weeks it's not, you know, and it just kind of all depends how the scale tips in your favor, and you know, and that's kind of the role of being a receiver. Sometimes you just got to be unselfish, you know. And ball flies your way, sometimes you won't see that thing at all, you know. You just got to stay poised and stay open.
You talk about being unselfish. This wide receiving core is very deep. Wide receivers coach Antoine Randall L. said he wanted a lot of receivers on this roster. He got it. What are you doing to help lead the pack?
Trying to make the plays that are given to me for my guys, and you know, mainly because I know they're going to do the same thing when they get their opportunity.
Dan Campbell has a few nicknames for you. Praying Mantis. Yeah, you already know where I'm going. Praying Mantis is one. Spider of Death. He said freaking serpent in a press conference. I know you like Big Smooth. What is one thing all of those nicknames have in common?
Yeah, I guess it'd be, you know, they're long. You know, serpent. You know, it's a long snake, whatever you want to call it. You got the praying mantis with long arms. You know, the spider of death, long arms. You know, hey.
A favorite stick out to you?
Probably serpent. Yeah, I like the serpent of death. Or I guess it kind of got combined, huh? It was a spider of death, and then you know.
I think they've been combined. Right. The praying mantis, spider of death, serpent. Yeah. You can combine them.
I can combine them, you know.
We'll tell the masses. We'll start going by that.
I love it. I love it.
You're heading home to Texas from the San Antonio area, which is just about 4.5 hours south of Dallas. What kind of show are you hoping to put on for the family and friends back home?
A good one. You know, hoping we get this win, and you know, it's definitely open for it, you know, and it'd be a great one to start off our great season that we're about to finish with.
This Dallas defense, they're tough. They've been asked to do a lot with quarterback number 1, Dak Prescott, out. How does this offense beat that Dallas defense and put itself into some really good opportunities?
Execution. We got a front 7, you know, that's gonna get after it, and so we got a front. So it's gonna be a battle. It's gonna be a battle, and you know, all we gotta do is execute. You know, Ben's gonna put us in the right spots, and give us the best, you know, best opportunity to succeed.
On 34 targets for the season, good for 23 receptions, Reynolds leads this Detroit Lions receiving core with 335 receiving yards. On average, when Reynolds catches the ball, it's for just under 15 yards a reception. He's been a steady force for this offense, now a third of the way through the season. We're taking a break here on Inside the Pride. Next up, hear from the head coach on his game plan for the Cowboys. Inside the Pride is presented by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort and sponsored by Priority Health, Kroger, and by Henry Ford Health. Welcome back to Inside the Pride. I'm now joined by the head coach, Dan Campbell. Coach, coming off of bye week, we know one adjustment that will for sure be made is how your team practices. It'll look a little more like training camp. Intensity will elevate and more 1-versus-1 drills. Why did you decide that that was the best way to practice moving forward?
Yeah, look, I feel like we got away from that a little bit, and I felt like we were really at a good place towards the end of camp. And you know, for areas that we're not as good at, we have to make up for it in those areas, man. The way that we play, our intensity, the way we hit, everything. And so I just feel like, and then just to get the competitiveness again, you still got to have it during the week. We have to have good on good and some one-on-one work. I think it'll help us out.
Moving to these Dallas Cowboys. On the offensive end, you've got a 1-2 punch in that run game. Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. Elliott, though, helping forge a comeback almost Sunday night against Philly. 81 yards, a touchdown. What in his ability makes him such an impactful player?
Yeah, look, this guy he's a heavy runner, and he gets better the more carries that you give him. I mean, here's a pretty good look at him right here. And they do a lot of this. It's almost like a hand-back jab scheme. It's downhill. They bring the receiver back on this corner. But, man, if you let him get into the defense here on the second level, he's a heavy runner. He's powerful. He's explosive. And this is tough. People don't really want to tackle him. You can say you want to tackle him, and he really does get better with the more carries that he gets.
On the defensive end, Dallas Cowboys defense playing at a very high level, leads the league in sacks with 24. Micah Parsons, linebacker, has 25% of those sacks. How do you limit him from getting to your quarterback, Jared Goff, Sunday?
Yeah, well, first of all, you got to like your matchups at the tackle position, which we do, man. I like Penei Sewell, and I like Decker. And, you know, they'll move this guy a little bit. I do feel like he's going to be more on our right, so I think that Sewell will see a little bit more of him than Deck. But I like that. But even with that, man, we got to have an answer for this guy. And I think you got to disrupt him early. So we'll have, you know, I think we'll have some nudges, some bumps. We'll chip him with the back a little bit. But here's what, we can't let him feel like this is the day he's going to have, because this is when he really excels. He's got a quick first step. He's long, explosive. He's probably one of the most elite athletes in our league, which is saying something. So we have to have an answer for him, and he can't feel like this is just going to be, let me tee it up and pass rush all day like one-on-ones. That would not be good for us.
Mm-hmm. You've got Parsons up front. Then you got Trayvon Diggs in the secondary. He can make plays on the ball, 2 interceptions so far. How do you make sure he doesn't give your pass game chaos Sunday?
Yeah, listen, he's a good player, and I think one of the best things here, you see him down here on the bottom of the screen, is for him, man, you got to give him multiple looks, multiple routes off of the same stem. You have to, because he's very good at matching routes, seeing them. He's got length. He can put his foot in the ground. And so, man, you got to give him the same stem and run 3 different routes off of it just to kind of keep him on his heels. This is a hell of a play. This is the end of halftime here. But you see, they do a pretty good job. They're running after him, and then it almost looks like he's going to bow out. They run the go route, and he tracks the ball. And really what makes good corners is not only your ability to cover, but the ability to track the ball down the field. That's what really separates very good corners. So he's one of them. He's a hell of a player.
The Lions will head to Arlington, Texas for the first time since 2018. The Cowboys are now sitting at 4-2 after a loss to Philly on Sunday Night Football. We're taking a break here on Inside the Pride, presented by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Up next, we go under the helmet with Kalif Raymond.
I learned to be a football player. It started my growth process in being a man by switching teams, because I started out in Denver, and I'm high and mighty. You know what I'm saying? And I'm thankful that I'm so thankful for this, actually, because it made me a better man. But I go to the next team, it's the Jets, man, and I don't know a soul. I don't know the plays. I don't know the coaches. They don't know me. I don't know the receivers, man. I get out there, my first game of punt, I look down, I'm like, I don't know a soul out here.
Kalif Raymond ranges over. It bounces off of Raymond, rolling down the sideline, and recovered by the Raiders.
Into the sun here. You can see him struggling.
Cleats are different, helmets different, everything's different. It's like a whole nother environment. And at that point, everything that I was, all the things that made me so comfortable, I didn't realize that, like, it was shadowing all the things that I need to work on. It was masking all the things that I need to work on. I had super anxiety, catching punts and everything like that. And that's when I I was unsure who I was as a man. I was unsure who I was as a football player. At that point, I was like, man, I'm playing my last year. What I decided was like, man, I can do one or two things. I can sit here and wallow in my stress and just, it's always gonna be here, or I can decide to do something. And what I do to combat that is, man, I just grind. It's a choice every day to fight. Fight fear, fight doubt, fight temptation, fight anything that you're doing, man. It's a choice every day. The war is constant, man. I don't think it's ever gonna stop till the day you die. But even then, as long as the sum of all those battles, man, is I was a good man. I fought as hard as I could. To me, I think that's the essence of being a man.
Nah, I am so thankful for you, though, for bringing me out here, bringing us out here.
What y'all don't know is he surprised me.
Yeah, that's a little bit of truth.
Because I've been asking Leaf to come visit for like 3 years now. And every year he's like, yeah, I'll be there in the off season, and he doesn't show up. And then, and then this year, text me, he's like, just text me where we're training tomorrow. I was like, what? I said, what? And then you called me, you're like, yeah, I'm passing by Three Sisters, is it?
Did she Tez County?
And I was like, no, he's really here.
Goff takes the snap, back to pass, throws right side. Raymond's got it, inside the 1, to the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions.
I'm gonna get to my mama real quick. Hey, baby, love you, man, love you.
Does your girl know it's coming like, in the next few days, or she thinks she's just coming to hang out?
She thinks she's coming to get interviewed for the under the helmet stuff.
And she really thinks that.
Texted me a few days ago with like, do I really have to come to Oregon? I was like, yes, you must make this flight.
After all this is said and done, I am so getting on her about that.
Oh yeah. Wow, you don't want to come to Vid.
You don't want to come to Oregon.
When you think about the future, I knew if I was on my worst, I don't second guess whether she loves me. When you look at life, you look at 60 down the road, man, you look at having a partner, man. For her to have me, honestly, just with being the person she is, man, it's it would be a blessing, you know what I'm saying, to get to spend it with her.
I search round the world, and there ain't no one else quite like you. So happy you're my girl. The answer to my prayers, you came true. The way we come together feels like it's forever. We lived a million lifetimes too. So baby, here tonight, I wanna change our lives.
This is it. Isn't it so beautiful?
Yeah, it's so pretty.
Let's just, I'm gonna take a seat right there.
We met in college. I get to campus early. This is my sophomore year. That's a funny story too.
You remember how we first met?
Yeah.
How did we meet?
So we were in Kimball Dining Hall, and you were behind me in line. We were waiting for food, and then I turned around and we started talking.
My receiver meeting's in the same building, so all the receivers flipping out. We spent the whole meeting room. They done searched on the student web. They searching up her name, trying to find her ID number, where she go to class. I'm like, what is going on? Like, if you like a girl, we gotta find her. So there's this whole ordeal.
Yeah, then the football ball after that.
Yeah, you invited me to the football ball, introduced me to all your teammates.
Yep.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart though, man. She's the one in the room that like, she's like the neutral ground when there's a bunch of crazy stuff going on, but you need a little bit of peace in your life, man. She's the one you go to. So yeah, man, she's a good person. So
one of the most endearing things that you have, more than like, because obviously you're beautiful, and they say, it sounds cliche when they say, oh, you're beautiful on the inside and the out, but you might be one of the best human beings that I know, like through and throughout. Like you got a great heart. You care about your people, care about your family, but you're really, really a sweetheart. And I think that's bigger than anything else, just the fact that you're a good person.
That's one of my favorite things. You're just a very kind, compassionate, caring person. I like that you always make sure that everyone around you feels included and like feels like they matter.
You care about people, and I don't know, Mom, I'm thankful that you're in my life. I think you're a gift from God.
I'm thankful you're not.
But I don't think 7 years is like a long time compared to like forever. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's time to make it forever. Yeah. I think we should start right now too.
Oh my God.
I love you forever, forevermore. I'm so thankful that you chose me, and I'm hoping you'll still choose me from today into forever and the rest of our lives moving forward. So, will you marry me?
Yes.
I just want to be known as a good man. That's it. I went through this life. I went through this profession. I want to be able to look at all the choices that I made, and I want the sum of those choices to say, man, I did it the right way. I was a good man. Good man to the people around me. Good man to the people I care about, and good man to the people that I don't know. Maybe I influence somebody in a certain way, but I just want to be a good man when it's all said and done.
Because our love is the greatest, oh baby.
I am Kalif Raymond.
Because our love is the greatest, oh baby.
What an incredible story from Kalif Raymond, and a big thank you to him for sharing it with us. We're almost wrapped here on Inside the Pride. Not before, though, I get to Rogers Retweets. That's up next. We'll be right back. Before we wrap up today's show, I've got to get to Rogers Retweets, where I pull my favorite social media posts from this past week in the NFL. And for the most part, Detroit Lions fans took the bye week off. We appreciate that. However, Detroit Lions social media does not, and they were able to report on a couple of really cool things, including offensive lineman Penei Sewell's fundraising event he held at Ford Field last week to support the Sewell Strong Foundation, and it goes to support initiatives focused on education, counseling, career opportunities, mental health, athletics, and more. It supports a few Detroit nonprofits, and Penei was supported by his family members, some offensive line, and some former Detroit Lions players in Lomas Brown and Calvin Johnson. And next, I've got to get to these turkeys that were walking right outside the door that I enter this facility in every single day, which is kind of scary to think about. I had turkeys when I was younger, and they're not very nice. So I'm really glad I didn't bump into these guys, but this is one of my favorite tweets ever coming from our Detroit Lions social media account, and use this as a plug for Thanksgiving game tickets against the Buffalo Bills. So those are on sale now. Go get yours. That wraps up this edition of Rogers Retweets. Detroit Lions are back in action. They're traveling down to Arlington, Texas to take on those Dallas Cowboys. Week 7 matchup kicking off at 1 p.m. We'll see you there.